I'm looking at Raven-Symoné's tweet once again. I can finally get married. Yay, government. So proud of you. And I'm thinking, well, Raven has the ability to do this partly because she has extraordinary wealth. She didn't have to work again.
Ever.
But there's also this point about generation. How much of this is a generational thing? Is it that this new generation of young people who are going to be born into a world where DOMA doesn't exist, where Don't Ask, Don't Tell doesn't exist? Do they have a different understanding of who and what they can be in the world? Or is this just one rich person being able to do what they want to do?
I think it's probably a couple of those things. You know, when I came out, I guess like almost 15 years now. But when I was looking around, I didn't see other women that looked like me, that had the same kind of things, like to do the same kinds of things that I like to do. I didn't see other people in my sorority that were out. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't as visible. So I think now that's changed a little. It's not completely changed. You still don't see, like, you know, a bunch of, like, you know, Black feminine lesbians on television. We're not running around in the mainstream. But I think the more that come out, that visibility matters.
I'm thinking about that because there's so many white celebrities, and I don't mean to overstate this, but I mean there are many of the people who come out. I'll put it that way, of women who come out. Overwhelming numbers seem to be white. Can we look at some of them? We see here. Look at this, from Ellen to. I mean, there's like one here with Wanda Sykes. That becomes like the person that you look to. But then we keep looking through the list of people, and it's mostly white women we see here. Howard, you make a living doing this. Is it easier for a Rachel Maddow to come out than, say, a Laverne Cox? Is it easier for, is it more difficult for Raven-Symoné to come out than, you know, a Penny Marshall?
I don't think Penny Marshall's come out.
Penny Marshall's not a lesbian. I wasn't outing Penny Marshall, to be clear. I just made a mistake on who that last white person was. Go ahead.
And I just want to say, I don't really make a living at it. This is, you know, what I call my
I mean, you make a living dealing with celebrities.
I make a living at PR.
Yeah, and this is a PR issue, though, isn't it? To some extent. I mean, it's easier for.
One thing we're ignoring here, one thing that I think is very important is the religious issue. The African American churches have typically been very homophobic. The preachers, and it's been a huge hurdle for the LGBT community, both for African American men and women, and to a certain extent culturally too. I took Don Lemon out of the closet, and you know, that was something we heard a lot of. But I think with Obama's support of marriage equality and Obama's very supportive statements on this, it's gone a long way towards making that bridge, because here's someone clearly the community respects. The second thing I want to say is why more people are coming out. I've been taking people out for 20-some years. I took out Sheila Kuehl, who was on a TV show in the 60s called Dobie Gillis, and a guy named Dick Sargent, who was on Bewitched, and that was 20-some years ago. And what I want to say is, they've looked at other people who've come out, other celebrities who are coming out, and they said, well, the sky isn't falling. In fact, in many cases, they're getting even more opportunity than they would have. They're getting more attention. They're getting magazine covers they may not have gotten. When you have Neil Patrick Harris hosting the Tonys and the Emmys, and Ellen DeGeneres hosting the Academy Awards, I think that says that their sexual orientation is probably not going to be a limiting factor career-wise.
But it took a long time for someone like Ellen to rebuild her career. Because remember, when she first came out, it was a huge deal, and she took a huge knock for that. You know, it's only been within the last, I guess, 10 years or so that she has gone and to be able to achieve the kind of mainstream success that she has now. But when she first came out, she took a serious blow.
I think she took a lot of grief, and, you know, I knew her team well at the time, and I think it was a calculated risk that she would, you know, which most actors take, and they say, well, maybe I'm leaving some quote unquote money on the table, but I'd rather live a truthful, honest life.